Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 40 years. I'm going through the lessons again this year as I have before, asking Jesus to clarify for me. And then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. Today we're looking at Lesson 253, Myself is Ruler of the Universe. And don't forget to go back and look at our special theme, What is Sin? Jesus asks us to do that before every lesson. Okay, so myself is ruler of the universe. It is impossible that anything should come to me unbidden by myself. Even in this world, it is I who rule my destiny. What happens is what I desire. What does not occur is what I do not want to happen. This must I accept. For thus am I led past this world to my creations, children of my will, in heaven, where my holy self abides with them and with him who created me. What a thought, am I right? Isn't this just the most amazing thing to think about? We are the ruler of our universe. We are the ruler of the universe, and we rule our destiny. And as we accept this, we're going to be led past this world to our creations, the children of our will. Just to think about that. So paragraph 2, you are the self whom you created, Son, creating like yourself and one with you. Myself, which rules the universe, is but your will in perfect union with my own, which can but offer glad assent to yours, that it may be extended to itself. The first paragraph is an abridged version of Lesson 152, The Power of Decision. I do fully accept that everything in my world comes from my desire to have it there, and nothing I want is missing. I love that my world is changing because it witnesses to my change of mind. I look forward to a complete change of mind and a return to heaven and my creations, the children of my will. Wake me up, Father, I miss you. The second paragraph is profound in its implications. It seems to say that I am one with God and God is one with me. God created me, but he created me as an extension of himself, and thus there's no difference and no separation. This is, of course, referring to my true self, not to the self of my imagination. My choices matter. When I first read A Course in Miracles, I read in the Course in Miracles that I'm doing this to myself and that I am solely responsible for everything in my life. It felt like an impossible burden. I couldn't understand how this could be. Why would I deliberately choose to have some of the experiences that were so painful? Over time, I've come to understand that our beliefs cause what happens. If I believe in guilt, I'm inviting situations that cause suffering. If I attack, I'm inviting situations of attack. If I hold grievances, I will be judged as I have judged. My choices matter because for every variation of the life experience of Myron, there is the corrected version of that life experience. My choice as to what beliefs I continue to support determine the version of this life that I live, as well as affecting the sonship as a whole. This is why I focus my practice on becoming aware of my beliefs and releasing those that are not true. And I can flip the switch. This is easier to understand if you accept that all that was made by our sleeping mind exists as it was made. Within the story of Myron that I have chosen to learn from, all possible beliefs and their effects are available to me. Remember, all thinking produces form at some level, as it tells us in chapter 2. The belief I presently experience is the one I choose to focus on. Kenneth Wapnick, in his book A Vast Illusion, Time According to A Course in Miracles, describes it like this. We have available to us in our minds a switch whereby we can instantaneously interchange these smaller tapes, either within the egos or the Holy Spirit scripts, or move from one to the other, tuning in to either the egos or the Holy Spirit's thoughts. I keep in mind that I am watching something from a point at which it has already been completed. So my choice of what I want to believe will determine the script I experience. This is not to say I am thinking into existence a new script. I'm simply choosing from what has already been thought, the script I'm interested in. I must accept responsibilities for my choices if I want to be fully awakened. This is necessary before I can be led past the world. Again, Jesus mentions our creations, the children of our will. He calls us awareness of what is beyond this world, heaven. And this is where our holy self abides along with God. For a long time, I could not stretch my mind to take in that which is beyond the story of Myron, and that was fine. I needed to give all my attention to the healing of the mind. Now I discover that I've become more interested in what comes next. I don't think too much about what it is like, and I cannot see that doing so would be particularly helpful. But I have begun to open my heart to the idea that I am something else, something far greater than I can presently imagine. These lessons in the second half of the workbook encourage me to accept what I do not understand and cannot remember. I do not, from this perspective, know, but I am guided by one who does know, and I surrender to that. Reginas tips on what is sin. Our special theme says the body is the instrument the mind made in its efforts to deceive itself. Its purpose is to strive. Yet can the goal of striving change? And now the body serves a different aim for striving. Truth can be its aim. Actually, the mind strives and the body follows. The mental chatter that you experience is striving. It is not rest. It is striving to accomplish the ego's idle wish for separation. Admittedly, spiritual practice is also striving. However, it is striving with a different purpose. It is striving to let go of the striving that creates illusion and to return to the state of rest in which truth is realized. In my thoughts, Regina offered some quotes to contemplate throughout the day. My favorites are these. Mere listening, even memorizing, is not enough. If you do not struggle hard to apply every word of the teaching in your daily life, don't complain that you make no progress. And when you are dead earnest, you bend every incident, every second of your life to your purpose. And I do these things. I strive to apply, and I know my goal, and I use everything to that purpose. The quote I need to work with is this one. You are the infinite focused on the body. Let me say that again. You are the infinite focused in a body. Now you see the body only. Try earnestly and you will come to see the infinite only. Wow. Here's Regina's tips on the lesson. There is a simple way to see the teaching above. If I want illusion, I get illusion. If I want truth, truth is realized. How do I know what I want? What is my life about? What am I applying myself toward? And my thoughts about that. Ever since I realized that I needed to choose one goal and stick to it, awakening has been easier, and the shifts I have experienced have come more quickly. My one goal is the peace of God. It is my aim, my purpose, and my function. In this way, I have a clear-cut path to walk. If I notice a desire that will not move me toward the peace of God, which is the same as awakening, then I'm not interested. I give it away because it is not relevant to my goal. Sometimes I have to talk to myself about it, but always I give it away. Again and again, Jesus tells us that we are powerful creators. He tells us that we are completely responsible for everything we experience in the world. This must I accept. A few years ago, I asked for help with this because at the time, I was not quite ready for that level of responsibility. I loved the message I was given, and it set me firmly on the road to acceptance, and gladly so. While I may sometimes wish that my life is someone else's fault, I know that it's not true. And really, I only wish to abdicate responsibility briefly because I understand that I can do something about it only because I am responsible. As always, the only solution to every seeming problem is to choose the Holy Spirit as my teacher. Holy Spirit, I feel like I understand this lesson and accept it. Is there anything you care to share with me about this? And this is my message from the Holy Spirit. Dear one, be very vigilant for the subtle ways the ego mind would have you place responsibility outside yourself, and be very vigilant for signs of guilt when you notice these moments. Guilt is not a helpful response. Notice your thoughts and release them. Think of guilt as holding tightly to what you don't want. The thing to remember always is that you are the source of your experience. This is always true, and there are no exceptions. While your experience is comfortable for you, it is easy to think about this. When you are feeling physically ill, your bank account is low, or when your children are in trouble and you're feeling helpless to do anything, the ego will argue that you did not do this. And I said, Holy Spirit, I'm thinking about last night when I was playing with a baby and thinking that it would be most inconvenient if I were to get her cold right now. That thought indicates it would be out of my control, that something outside me could be my cause. And Holy Spirit says, yes, those are the thoughts to watch for. Nothing is outside your holy mind. So how could something outside you give you anything? Remember that you seek to master your thoughts, not control your world. Watch closely as the world shows you a picture of your thoughts. Be always certain that it is in your awareness. If it's in your awareness, it is your responsibility. If what you see is not a reflection of truth, acknowledge and release. I cannot take from you what you value and want to keep, but I will always purify those thoughts that you give to me. And I said, Holy Spirit, where my mind balks is when I think of those things in my awareness but outside my immediate control, like what is happening in the Ukraine, and when my child is having a problem. It's hard to understand what to do about any of that. Holy Spirit said, precious child, the confusion you experience is caused by being uncertain who you are. It is so easy yet to forget that you are the Christ because you're not experiencing yourself as a Christ. You most often still feel like you're Myron, that you are a single body living among other single separated bodies on a planet in a solar system. When you make this mistake, you feel very small and very helpless, which is exactly what you want to feel when you identify with the ego. The ego is a thought of separation, and separation is a thought of helplessness and hopelessness. But it is, in the end, only a thought, and it is a lie. Remember that the need to control is a reaction to fear. It is not control that is the goal, nor is it your environment that is the problem. What is happening in the Ukraine is your responsibility because it mirrors the conflict in your mind. And that is something you can correct through me. The same is true of what happens in the lives of your children. The ego would run around trying to influence politicians. The ego would be frantically seeking solutions to everyone's problems. Of course, this would ultimately fail, and the ego would have proven the point that you are helpless and hopeless. Well, thank you, Holy Spirit, for helping me to see this. I am willing to release all conflict. I am willing to take responsibility for everything in my awareness. I trust that I will be given the opportunities that I'm ready for, which will be most helpful to my awakening. Thank you so much for joining me in this lesson. If you found it helpful, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And thanks so much to all of you who have already subscribed, and to everyone who shows up to join me in these lessons. And I will be back tomorrow with another one.